What if I told you that the most prehistoric marketing fossil funnels were dead? Well, the truth is that it's not a what if anymore, because there are so many 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs that have been shifting from funnels to a new system, and they've been following it for many, many years to make millions and millions. People like Hormozi, Gadzhi, Tom Youngs, and I've even been using it with my clients to get some pretty decent results here. Like here we have 30K in pipeline in 7 days, 5K in pipeline day one, 10.5K in 10 days, 10K in 7 days. So that's why in this video, I'm going to show you why those proven funnel systems that minted money last year and years ago are now bleeding your business dry. And also the counterintuitive and new approach that the top coaches and info product owners are using, while everyone else continues chasing the diminishing returns from dying funnel tactics. So without further ado, let's just get right into the source. So most coaches and info owners have a very linear system, which is, the traditional funnel setup. They might have something like content to free training to application, something that's very step by step and very rigid. And don't get me wrong, with this system, you're probably closing clients. You're probably around like 8 to 10 grand a month. You're doing fairly well. But closing clients is hard and it's unpredictable, especially with this type of system. Here's why. You're spending 3 or more hours filming reels every single week, chasing virality, thinking that short form content is going to grow your business. You finish your ClickFunnels page, you chuck in a couple fake countdown timers, fancy, and then you put in some free $500 strategy call, again, thinking that that's what's going to bring you conversions. Then you record a 45-minute training, which is actually just a VSL disguised as a free video. But don't worry, it should get results because your favorite marketing YouTuber swears by it. Your coach is hyping you up, saying that, this system was so good, you'll be too busy closing to even post content anymore. And then reality hits and the results come in. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, nothing. Day 3, someone finally books in a call, you get excited, but it's a no-show. And day 4, another one books in a call, you get excited again, but it's a 15-year-old who's got 37 cents in his account and he's completely unqualified. You try to overcome objections like you thought, but it never works because the people you're selling to are unqualified, low quality people. But eventually someone says yes. And it's a big win, right? Someone's paid you money and you finally have a client until they're a complete nightmare. They flake on calls, they DM you at midnight and they want a refund after 3 days when they don't get results. And you think to yourself, why does signing clients have to be this freaking hard? Why? Well, you've kind of done this to yourself, bro. Because the system that you're using attracts 17-year-olds or unqualified people or no one at all. The decisive, invested buyers aren't going to be filling in your 14-question application form. They're going to ghost that whole system because they've seen it 17 different times this week already. And it just screams at them that they're about to get pitched. So it's a pattern in their brain. Because they've seen it so many times, the moment they see it again, their sales guard is immediately raised and they subconsciously think that they're about to get pitched, which completely destroys the one thing, or rather the 2 things that make selling possible, which I'm about to explain to you later. And because of this, closing is a gamble. Some weeks you're closing, others you're not. But there's no planning, there's no scalability, and there's no predictability, which is exhausting. You work for what? For empty calendars and just unqualified Joes that waste your time. Now you think this is rock bottom, you think it can only go up from here. But to make it worse, you've been led the lie and you're led to believe the lie that the funnel is the problem, it's the funnel. So it's time for another funnel rebuild, again. This time you stay up until 1:30 a.m. reworking on this new funnel headline, this new VSL, and you think, this one's going to work, surely, except nothing happens. People still bounce, people still ghost, people still don't buy. Even when people do buy, they're a shit client. And you think while all of this is happening, and while you're frustrated at why your system isn't getting any results that everyone promised would, you see some posts from a fitness coach who's got 800 followers and he's making 40 grand a month. And you think, it's so unfair. How is this guy who seems like he's not even trying to sell, how is he making all of this money with such a small following? What the hell is he doing that I'm not? And let me tell you the real problem here. The real problem is that the system that you're using is broken. Funnels are dead. And that's not only my opinion, but as I mentioned before, that's the opinion of all of these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs who are at the top of the game. They're at the top of the industry, and they all have the same opinion because they've shifted from using funnels. Now you're probably wondering why. Why do we say this? Why are all of these big entrepreneurs shifting? And just what happened to funnels? And there are two big problems in 2025 with funnels. Number one is that funnels rely on huge lead volume. They rely on volume. They rely on getting as many people into the funnel and then just hoping that they slowly filter down and that you convert them. It's a hope game. And the truth is that if you have a business that relies on volume, then you have a business that relies on hope. And if you have a business that relies on hope, then you don't even have a business, you just have a hobby. And this number two big problem is that audiences in 2025 are just hyper aware. They know they're in a funnel, they don't like being in a funnel, and as I mentioned before, it's a pattern in their brain. They've seen it so many times, and for them, funnels just feel so mechanical. They feel so rigid. They feel like they're being processed rather than helped. They just feel like a number rather than an actual person. So if we want to combat this, and if we want to get people to pull out their wallets and pay us money, pay us thousands and thousands of dollars for our coaching so that we can help them, then we need to get them to trust us, and we need to have a relationship with them. And as I mentioned before, funnels does the exact opposite of this. Funnels are a pattern, so they raise sales guard, and they make these two, having trust and having a relationship with the person, they make it impossible. And because of that, you struggle to attract people, or the people who you do attract are low quality, unqualified, and shit clients. So the question becomes, how the heck do you sign clients without a funnel? Because this is all that everyone talks about. This new type of funnel, this new XYZ funnel, this new system. How do you do it without a funnel? So take out your notebook, because that's exactly what I'm about to drop the game on. And by the way, while you're taking out your notebook, make sure to go and subscribe down below to the channel for the weekly videos. What we have to do to combat this, so we can actually have trust and relationship in our audience, is we need to have a system that does not trigger a pattern in their brain. It doesn't trigger a pattern in their brain. They need to view us as different. Because when they view us as different, then sales resistance drops, and you're more likely to have trust and a relationship with the person on the other side of the screen, which is the only thing that makes selling possible in the first place. Now, this idea of the amount of trust that you're able to install and engineer in people, the idea of trust, is so important, because in 2025 we live in a trust recession where nobody trusts anyone anymore online. Because of all of the scammy gurus that have come out, and all of these stories that you hear of people getting scammed and people getting done over online, people don't trust anyone anymore. So in order for them to trust us and view and actually buy from us, we need to have a relationship with them, and they need to view us as different from everyone else, which is, again, and I'll repeat it, and I've said it 2 times, or I'll say it 5 more times, and it's exactly why I've shifted this result, I've shifted this system for my clients, and all of these guys have shifted their system to something new. Now, I know I've been holding off for quite some time, but this new system that I'm talking about is what I'm about to break down to you right now. And that is harmonious ecosystems, or flywheels, as they're also called. Now, everyone's ecosystem or flywheel will look completely different. Here's just an example so that you can understand. You have your Instagram to attract, which then directs people to your YouTube to build trust with people, then directs people to your email to build more trust and eventually convert. And then from the clients that you convert, your client results then feed back into your Instagram and into your YouTube. Now, the overall big idea here is we're ditching a very linear system, a system that's step by step, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, very step by step. And as I mentioned before, because that feels mechanical, it feels rigid. It feels like you're treating the person like a number rather than an actual human. So the way that we get a more personal approach and we were able to engineer and install trust in people, we're able to build a relationship with the person and have them trust us, is using something more like a cyclical system, where it doesn't feel step by step, it doesn't feel mechanical, rigid, but rather it just feels like we're just trying to help them, as we are. We're just trying to help them. You can have perfectly good intentions with the funnel. You could be trying to give value to audience and help them. But that is never going to work if you're viewed as the same as everyone else. If you're in the same boat and they view you as being the same as everyone else. So if we want to be viewed as different, then we need to shift our approach to something that works harmoniously together, where we're still selling to people and we're still able to have a relationship and have trust with people, but we do it in a more of a stealth and a harmonious way, where it doesn't seem like we're trying to sell to them in the first place. And now there are 4 big reasons why these ecosystems are so powerful and why I've been shifting to it for my clients, and all of these other entrepreneurs have been using it. And one of the big reasons is your Instagram feeds into your YouTube feeds into your email feeds into your client results, and your client results. So it's a cyclical system that works together harmoniously. And as something in a circle, or as something that moves in a circle often does, this compounds and it builds momentum over time. So your effort that you put in now, it pays you a year, it pays you 2 years, it pays you 3 years down the line, simply because of the system that you have, the cyclical system that compounds and compounds and compounds over time. Now, also, the second thing is, with these type of systems, you attract highly qualified, perfect prospects that are happy to pay you 5, 10K because they see your value. And the main reason why they see your value is because you, again, have engineered a system that installs trust in your buyers. Your YouTube's building trust, your email's building trust. You might use some stuff on Instagram with your stories, with your client results, to build trust with people and to build a relationship with people, which is why you're able to attract highly qualified, perfect people. And you're able to attract those highly qualified, perfect people without needing volume. This isn't a funnel. It's a cyclical system and this system is essentially built. The foundational principle of this whole system is that it engineers trust in your buyers. It's built on trust. And when a system is built on trust, which is the one thing that makes selling possible, then you don't need huge volume. Because even if you have 800 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people watching your content, that's more than enough volume to build enough trust to convert a couple of people into paying clients that pay you really well. And because of that, and because of the amount of trust that you're able to engineer and install in people, and the relationship you're able to build, that closing just becomes effortless. Because when people hop on sales calls with you, they're already pre-sold on your offer. In fact, if we go back to the entrepreneurs that I'm talking about here, I'm going to scroll quite a long way here. If we talk about, for example, Nick Setting and Tom Youngs, these guys don't even take sales calls, and they close 10, 15 grand deals over the DMs. You know why? Because, again, they have a system which is built on trust. Their system is what's called marketing-based conversion rather than sales-based conversion, where it relies on strong marketing and personal branding. And so their personal brand and their marketing system does all the selling for them. It builds all the trust for them. So by the time it comes to buying, people gravitate towards them. They don't need to chase, they attract. And they close 10, 15 grand deals over the DMs. Now, even if you don't close in the DMs, if I go back to my notes here, I added a note which says Fahad. Now, Fahad is one of my clients, and we got him some pretty decent results here. We got him like 30K in his pipeline in 7 days. his close rate from his actual ecosystem is 60%. His close rate outside his ecosystem is 20%. So that just demonstrates the trust and relationship that you have with people in your audience when you use a proper system that's built on trust and relationships. That shows that when people are hopping on calls with him, that they're already pre-sold on his offer when they come from his ecosystem. But that's only possible when you obviously do it the right way. And essentially for him, the system is doing the selling for him. And because the system is doing the selling for him, and when the system does the selling for you, then scaling is just 10 times more predictable and effortless. Because you don't need to hop on 10 sales calls every single day, and you don't need to spend 2 hours on every single sales call handling 10 different objections from clients, because the sale starts at the beginning. The sale starts when you're building trust with people on YouTube, when you're building trust with people on email, because that's what's going to allow them that's how you're going to get them to be pre-sold on your offer. So by the time it comes to the call, by the time it comes to the DM close, then it's just a matter of them saying, send me the payment link, because you've built such a good relationship and they have so much trust and faith in you that you can get them the best results. And that's all the source I had for you guys today. Make sure to go and subscribe to the channel for the weekly videos. Also, by the way, I've talked a lot about engineering and installing trust. And if that doesn't really make sense to you, then make sure to go and check out my last week's YouTube video, which will be at the end screen. There'll be another YouTube video. Make sure to go and check that out. And finally, if you want me to handle your entire email marketing process and help you grow on YouTube as well, then go down and book in a call with me. There's not going to be some super high pressure sales call. I don't do any of that. We'll just have a chat. And yeah, man, that's it. So make sure to book in a call, and make sure to also check out this next video, which shows you how to engineer and install trust in your buyers.